Hi all, welcome to the Conversation on Sustainable Mountains podcast, a podcast to talk about the sustainable development of the mountains. My name is Carla Lostrangio from the European Association on Local Innovation, and today I'm here with Emilia Schmitt. So Emilia, you are environmental scientist with a PhD on sustainable value chains, and you worked a lot on Swiss cheese, and we all love cheese. In 2023, you moved from the Swiss Alps to the University of Cordova in Spain, where you are scientific coordinator of the Moving project on mountain resilience. So in Moving, you are in charge of preparing a comparative report on challenges and opportunities for mountain value chains across Europe. So if I tell you not all mountains are the same, what is your reaction?
Of course, I agree with you. Indeed, all mountain regions are not the same. And we see that each mountain has a particular mix of ecosystems that are defined by their altitude, by their climate, even by the rocks and vegetation that you find in these mountain regions. So they are all given a particular identity, also by the people living there and those cultivating the land in a particular way. So in the end, each mountains, they are the results of a long history of interactions between the natural resources that you find there and the actors managing the land and managing their communities.
We've seen that mountains are different, but do they share any commonalities?
All these mountains, they are indeed very different, but at the same time, at this stage of the project, we are realizing that they have also a great deal in common. So actually, they are very similar, depending on what angle we choose to observe and listen to them. What I mean is that if we take a step back and look for common threads, we have seen in the Moving project that we find common challenges in all European mountain regions. So all the actors working to preserve these practices and ways of life, they're confronted with accommodating with the needs of modernization and adapting to global threats and changes.
What are the common challenges affecting the moving regions?
So one that is affecting all of us, although very differently depending on the region, is, for example, climate change. And we could think that it's very different according to latitude or altitude of the regions, and it is. But still, we were surprised to realize that, for example, changes in the precipitation seasons and water cycle has been a common thread across all regions. So we see this as a common challenge from Romania to Spain and also from Scotland to Greece. And across the projects, through our interviews and workshops, we have realized that there are 5 major topics that are common challenges across almost all mountain regions. The first big area of challenge is nature and ecosystem services. And there we also see the common problem of managing biodiversity and conserving the natural resources that are needed to produce the typical food in the long term. The second challenge that we really see in all the region, and that is mentioned by a lot of actors and posing a lot of problems all through the value chain, is social and demographic changes. So Europe is becoming an older continent, and this is especially a problem in mountains because the workforce, so young people, are leaving this area, or they are not interested anymore to take over farms or also processing businesses. So there is a huge shortage of workforce on farms, but also for the transformation of milk into cheese or butchery shops, it's a problem in all the regions. The third area of challenges that is common is called value. So it's about how to valorize these products and services as well from mountain regions, and to get in the end the recognition and the fair price for them. The fourth aspects we have identified is around innovation and infrastructure. So we are in this global change towards digitalization and connectedness everywhere. And mountains have more costs, and it's more difficult to reach all of these regions. And they have special needs of infrastructure for adapted roads and logistics infrastructures. The last common challenge we have identified is surrounding governance, cooperation, and territoriality. So it's about how to build cooperatives or groups that can help manage the value chains from production to consumption in a way that all actors in the end can valorize their products and that all is working well together. So now, from the lens of these common challenges, we are now looking more in details how this is expressed in each region. So the challenges are in common, but how they are expressed exactly is very different. And we can hopefully learn from this comparison between the regions to see how local value chains can support to alleviate these challenges and also contribute to sustainability and resilience in mountain regions.
Thanks, Emilia. Sounds great. Thanks for having and giving this overview also of common challenges. I think, it's already provide us a general framework. We see that indeed mountains are very, very diverse, and you are studying a lot of different mountain ranges in this comparative report that you are going to compile. Can you maybe share with us any striking findings from these reports and mountain value chains across Europe?
Yes, I can try, although we're still processing a lot of information coming from the regions. But what I would like to share maybe is that although these challenges are really big challenges and common across regions, we also see that there are areas of solutions. And so mountains are also places of opportunities and places that could also show us, all of us, what it means to work under constraints. And what I find especially striking is depending on how synergies can be found and common motivation emerging in these regions. What we see is that there are common pathways across all these regions, although some are more economic driven and have specialized in big productions such as Scottish whiskey in the Highlands or olive oil in Spain. There is everywhere some initiatives going more into diversification and niche or certification and employing new knowledge and innovation, all trying to go toward this better valorization of mountain products. So this is an area of solutions. It was a challenge, but it's also a solution. And underlying all of these pioneering work is always at the core is a cooperative, a group of people or pioneers, people who are leading these communities in mountains to start and maintain these initiatives, which are very bottom up most of the time. And we see that in all our areas of challenges, solutions tend to always come back to this essential step of first having a working community, having people with the soft skills to help local actors in value chains to work together towards a better valorization or to adapt the production to the local conditions.
So just to simplify, sorry for simplifying that, solution meaning also
Sure.
to what you are saying, working community. So the importance of people, like skilled people being in mountains. So you talked about places of opportunities. Could you name an example of how mountains are places of opportunities?
For example, we have just been in Hungary for a big workshop with a lot of our stakeholders in the project. And we got to visit some local initiatives, and we saw really pioneering young people, highly motivated to go back to the mountains and start their initiatives with, for example, community-supported agriculture, where they make a link with the nearby cities, but they also have found the opportunity to build a community, trying to create collaboration between newcomers and the original population. So the place I visited is a place of opportunity because there is space and there is also political support for young people to be able to start their own farm or their own gastronomy business, and they find a space in the mountains. In cities, it's become almost impossible just to find a building or a place to start a new business. There is also opportunity to develop new niches or patrimony where the old varieties have not disappeared yet. There is opportunity to revive them and practice retro innovation. That's when you take old products, old varieties of crops or of animals and valorize them through products with, for example, a mountain denomination or a PDO.
Would you suggest any key recommendation for unlocking the power of mountain value chains?
It's really about empowering our local pioneers and local initiatives towards building communities of quality that are behind these value chains and products that can contribute to sustainability and resilience. So my recommendation, I think that's one of the main ones. There are others, of course, but a main one would be to support these people who have the soft skill of networking, of holding a community together, and supporting these people with empowerment and capacity building to make these initiatives scale up. And another recommendation we've heard at our workshop in Budapest, we also had representative from Euromontana making this metaphor of having DJs who are playing the music of the mountains and have to take a bit of European policies, a bit of the local ecosystem and make a mix that's working. So if we want to go more towards sustainability and resilience, it's especially about supporting the local DJs, so the persons who are able to make a good mix of what's coming from the global level, global challenges, a bit of European policies that is adapted to their local environment, and what is the best things they can valorize from their local environment for the local people and the local value chains. So these are really the pioneers, the people we need to empower at local level to make this all work towards a more sustainable and resilient future in mountain areas.
Only if they make good music, of course. Emilia, I would like to thank you for joining us today. We learned so many things with you, and we'll do more on our next episode on using foresight to explore mountain futures. Stay tuned.